What's up, everybody? I'm Clayton. You're listening to Ages of Fear podcast number 42, ranking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. This is the final episode that we are doing in our Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I've gone through all of these films, reviewed all of them, given my thoughts on each one. Now we're wrapping it up with another ranking video. So, it's 50 years of Texas this year. So I thought, we'd honor that and just walk through each of these films and talk about them. So it's not my favorite franchise. I'm a Halloween guy. Halloween's my favorite horror franchise. Michael Myers, my boy. I will, ride or die with Myers until the end of time. I make, no quarrels about that. But, I want to give my viewers, something for everybody. I thought doing a TCM review series would be fun and something for you all to enjoy. So, we're wrapping it up today with this ranking video. Now, before we get into it, just a few announcements. One of those being any new subscribers I have. I just want to say thank you for hitting that subscribe button, coming to kick it with me here in Ages of Fear, tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. It helps out the channel more than you know. So don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button as well if you are enjoying the content. Also, a few recommendations for all of you. If you're a fan of horror and you're looking for other horror channels to check out, Movies and Beyond with Michael. It's a great channel. Michael's always dropping great content over there. Live streaming, doing paranormal reactions, fan film, watch-alongs. He does horror hangouts on Sundays. He's doing, he's always dropping something. So go over to Movies and Beyond, hit that like and subscribe button. Michael also has a Patreon that you can go check out as well. So go do that. Give him some love and support. Also, The Bearded Entertainment with Eric. Another great channel. Eric's got awesome content over there as well. Also does reactions of fan film watch-alongs. He's doing a series right now called My Life in Horror that's been badass and a lot of fun. So go check out The Bearded Entertainment. Hit the like and subscribe to his awesome channel. And if you're just a fan of movies in general, let me recommend Brian Lomax to you. Brian's a good friend. He's got a great channel. Do the same thing for him. Like, subscribe, enjoy all of his content. He's been on YouTube for many, many years now. So he's got just a plethora of different movie reviews, ranking videos, live streams, and so much over there. So, go show Brian some love. All right. All of that out of the way, let's get into ranking some Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just a disclaimer, as always, guys, this is just my opinion on these movies, how I would rank these movies. If you feel differently, if you would rank them differently, that's totally fine. Let me know your ranking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies in the comment section. How would you rank these movies? I'm interested to see how you guys rank these movies. My ranking is not the right ranking. It's just my ranking. All right. And it is subject to change. So the movies in the middle are subject to change. I don't think my bottom is ever going to change, and I don't think my top is ever going to change. But everything in between, subject to change. But this is my ranking of the TCM movies as of 2024. So if we get more Texas movies out in the future, things change up. I might do another ranking video down the road with an updated version if we get more Texas movies out there. So this is my ranking as of right now. So I'm going to start, as always, from the bottom and work my way up to the top. So there are 9 movies in total in this franchise. So we're going to start with number 9 and we're going to go up to number 1. All right. So starting it off, and I'm not going to go super in depth on all these because I've done a review on all these movies. So if you want to know my in-depth thoughts, go check out the reviews of these movies. I've also done a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking video. So I've ranked all the Nightmare movies, and I've done a Friday the 13th ranking video ranking all the Friday movies. So if you're a Jason fan or a Freddy fan, you want to know my ranking on those franchise, go search for them in the archives and enjoy those videos as well. All right, so here we go. We're going to rank all 9 Texas movies, starting with number 9. At the bottom, this should be no surprise to anybody. If you've been kicking it with me through this review series, you should already know what number 9 is going to be. And that is, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Released, I believe, in 1995. Guys, this movie is dog shit. Enough said. Moving on to number 8. And my 7 and 8 are very close for me. The 7 and 8 are very, very close to me. Both of these movies are 2-star films. So they're neck and neck. They're very close. And this was the closest call, honestly, of any of these. This one is definitely liable to change. 7 and 8 can easily flip on any given day. But as of right now, I'm going to go with number 8 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, Leatherface. This movie is not a terrible movie. It's a 2-star film, so it's not a very good movie in my opinion, but it's not total garbage. There are things I do like about it. I do like the look of Leatherface here. I do like some of the tone and the atmosphere. I thought was pretty good. Some of the performances are good by the family, the Sawyer family. I like Ken Faree. I like a young Viggo Mortensen. It does have some things going for it. Where this movie suffers, I think, is kind of in the story and in the utilization of Leatherface. There are some scenes here, with Leatherface and I guess his daughter, which why we're having Leatherface having a daughter in the first place, it's just totally ridiculous and stupid, in my opinion. He doesn't need to be having a daughter. But the scene, where you see her sitting on his lap and giving him a kiss, no, dude, no, we don't need that in a TCM movie. So the way that they use Leatherface for me in this movie is a big setback. This also is probably the most forgettable Texas movie of all of them. This is the one that I could easily forget about. If I'm thinking about different Texas movies, this is definitely the one that I'm most likely to just forget about. It's not that entertaining. There's not a lot of emotional depth there. So yeah, for me, Texas Chainsaw Part 3 comes in at number 8, 2-star movie. Coming in right above it, very close, at number 7 for me is Texas Chainsaw 3D, another 2-star movie. This movie does have a lot of problems as well. But the reason I do slightly put it above Part 3 is because I do think that they use Leatherface in a better way than Part 3 does. Texas Chainsaw 3D, we don't see Leatherface interacting with, his different family members. He's very aggressive. He's very, there's no affectionate scene with Leatherface. He's a savage. He's got some great kills in the movie. I like the look of Leatherface. So yeah, the problem is is definitely in the story and in the script with Texas Chainsaw 3D. That's where this movie suffers. But in the actual performance and look and utilization of Leatherface, I think is better in this one than it is in Texas Chainsaw Part 3. So for those reasons, I do give Texas Chainsaw a slight edge over it. If someone wants to argue that those two should be reversed, I'm not going to argue with you. They're both 2-star movies for me. It's just that Texas Chainsaw 3D just edges it out for the 7th spot on my list. Moving on to number 6 for me. This one moving up a little bit, 2.5 stars, and that is Leatherface from 2017. This is a decent movie, in my opinion. I don't hate it, but I also wouldn't go as far as to say that I like this movie. I don't think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie either. I think it just kind of falls right there in the middle, in the decent category. I do think it's got a lot of things going for it, and I do think it's a very misunderstood movie. I think this, of all of the Texas movies, is the most misunderstood. I think people read this film in a way that the film wasn't meant to be read, if that makes sense. I think the filmmakers here they have a very clear vision about what they want to do and the story that they're trying to tell. I think where it falls is in the execution a little bit of that story, and trying to mix it and blend it with a Texas Chainsaw movie. I don't know that those two blend very well. The story that they're trying to tell and a typical Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. But I do think it does have some good things going for it. I do like the acting in the movie. I like the tone, the atmosphere. I do like the story that they're trying to tell there. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's very believable. So, yeah. Leatherface for me, 2.5 star film. It comes in at number 6 for me. Moving on into my number 5. Now, I'll just go ahead and say from this point on, these top 5 movies are all movies that I like. So all of these are 3-star films and above. So just putting that out there. This next movie, even though it is my number 5, it is a movie that I like and I do have a good time with. So my number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from 1986, I believe. This movie is a fun movie. It does play more as a horror comedy, although I don't really think it succeeds all that much in the comedy side of things. I do think it succeeds more in the horror side, not so much in the comedy side. I see the scenes that are supposed to be comedic, but they're just really not that funny to me, personally. I definitely think this is more of a horror film than it is a comedy, but Tobe Hooper plays it out as a horror comedy. So, but it is a fun film. I love watching Dennis Hopper just be turned up to 12 and just dual wielding chainsaws and going at it with Leatherface. I'm for it, man. I don't take this movie that serious. The movie itself doesn't take itself that serious. So I can kick back and throw this on and have a good time with it. Is it flawed? Yes. Are there characters in the movie that are some of the most annoying characters in the franchise? Yes. Does it have its problems? Yes. But is it fun? Is it entertaining? Absolutely. So, yeah. I'm not big of a fan of Leatherface in this movie. This is one of the weaker utilizations of Leatherface, in my opinion. I don't like him being a good guy and trying to help the victim out. But what are you going to do, right? The movie is still entertaining and fun. Good performances. Excuse me. And it's a good time. So, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Part 2 is my number 5. 3-star film. Moving on to number 4. Number 4, I'm going to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning from 2006. This is the prequel to the remake. And yeah, I do like this movie. This is also a 3-star movie for me. I like this movie quite a bit. I would put it on before I would put Part 2 on. Just because it's definitely more of a true Texas movie. This gets the tone, the atmosphere right. We get my favorite Leatherface, played by Andrew Bernarski, in his portrayal of Leatherface. It's my favorite version of that character. We get another great performance by Arlie Ermy. A pretty decent story here. Yeah, I do really like the beginning. It's definitely one of the better Texas movies. Obviously, it's sitting here at number 4 for me. So, some of the problems for me with this movie is more so in the script, and a lot of plot conveniences here. A lot of lazy writing, things that they try to fit into the script that really don't need to be there. And yeah, I can appreciate the idea of doing a prequel to the remake. I just felt like the direction that they went with the story, a prequel story, wasn't necessarily the best direction to go. I think there was potential there. I think there was something that they could have done that actually could have worked pretty well. But it was just in the execution and the decision that they decided to go. It's what kind of brings this movie down some for me. But overall, 3-star movie. I like it. I have a good time with it. It's number 4 for me. Moving on to number 3. Top 3 now. My number 3 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2022, the Netflix streamed film. I'm a big fan of this movie, guys. This is a 3.5-star movie for me. I enjoy it quite a bit. I think that they get Leatherface perfect. They nail that character. They absolutely, they got Leatherface right. The look of Leatherface, the utilization of Leatherface, I thought was all good. The performance by Leatherface, great kills, high body count. I thought they directed the tension well in the movie. It's got a lot going for it. It really does. I'm a big fan of the 2022, the latest addition into this franchise. I think it looks beautiful, great cinematography in it as well. Some of the issues for me are more in the characters here. The main cast of characters that we're supposed to be following, just not very likable at all, and I find them actually quite annoying. That's where this movie's gonna take some hits for me, but overall, it's a 3.5-star film. So I enjoy it quite a bit. I can throw this one on anytime and enjoy myself and have a good time with it. So it's my number 3. That leaves only 2 movies left in this franchise, the original and the remake. And if you guys have been kicking it with me for a while, you should know where this is going. But my number 2 is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Also a 3.5-star movie with potential to go up, it must say. This movie has continued to rise for me. If you were to have asked me where the original would have fallen a year and a half ago, it would have been lower. on my list. It probably would have been, 5 or 6, somewhere around there. But over time, this movie has won me over. It's grown on me, and I've come to really enjoy this original movie. In my review of this movie, I go more into depth as to why I wasn't a big fan of this movie originally, and what's led me to come around on it. But I do really like this movie. It does have potential to maybe get into that 4-star tier for me, with more watches in the future. In the future, but as of right now, I do have it as my number 2. It 3.5-star film. I do really like it. We got it. We get a great Leatherface by Gunnar Hansen. He kind of set the bar, set the standard for that character, and it's a classic. It really is, and we're very fortunate to have it. So, yeah, the original Texas Chainsaw is my number 2. Anyone that wants to put it as their number 1, I'm not going to make that big of a deal over it. I get that I'm probably in the minority on that, but yeah, that's just my take. So obviously, my number 1 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003, directed by Marcus Nispel, starring Jessica Biel and Andrew Bernarski as Leatherface. I think this is the best looking Leatherface. I think this is the best performance of Leatherface, the best version of Leatherface, the best usage of Leatherface, the best group of characters, the best tone and atmosphere. The best direction of tension. To me, it's a masterpiece, and this is a 5-star film for me. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I don't think it's ever going to drop. Number 2 on my list is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's a 3.5-star film. So we're jumping from 3.5 to 5 stars. I don't ever see the Texas Chainsaw remake dropping from number 1. Never say never, but I don't see it happening. I love this movie to death. I think I personally, I think it's the scariest Texas movie. I think it's the most effective Texas movie, with the best version of the main slasher villain, that being Leatherface. So yeah, 5-star film. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Love this movie, and it is my number 1. So there you go, guys. That is my ranking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. What is your ranking of this movie? Do you agree with my list? Let me know yours in the comment section. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, kick it and rock on.